Three, two, one. Hi there. My name is Karen Burgoyne, and today I'm giving my presentation to you from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. My presentation for this conference is Exploring Autism Across the Lifespan, the Challenges and Opportunities, and Breaking the Chains of the Autism World. The topics of this presentation I'm going to give are 1. The autism chains and challenges. A bit of a brief explanation of how I was with autism in the early life. 2. My shadow and adulthood. Discussions of transitions to adult life and having my shadow behind me, facing up to life behind the prison walls of autism. 3. Breaking the chains of that autism prison. After diagnosis, as well as doing the life journey that I've done, and living as a normal adult, but still catching up with myself during that time. 4. Adult life and employment. Being employed and, being self-employed on the autism spectrum, including the running of my own business, KTalk. And finally, number 5, the opportunities of autism success. The discussions and successes that I've had in life, e.g., a long-time friends network, and a house that I've built for myself as well. When I was a child or a kid, life was extremely difficult and hard to understand why I was like I was. I couldn't talk or even make conversation. I couldn't socialize with others. I lived in a world where I was alone. I would sleep all the time when I was younger to process information or hide from the world that threatened me. Most weekends when I was in primary school, I would sleep some weekends all weekend, unless my dad took me out or my mum took me out, or I just played my music and I rode my bike or bounced on my trampoline, which I had at that time. I had no friends to play with, and my sister was often out playing with hers, which scared me out of my wits. Deep down inside of me, in my little soul, I was very lonely and desperate to change the world that I had lived in. I needed help, but didn't quite know how to ask for it back then. I just went along with what others did, or my mother did at the time. I couldn't make my own decisions for myself back then, and this was the early 70s, 80s, or even 90s. I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at the age of 30. Prior to that, I went around not knowing what I had, and I struggled to understand how I hurt other people. The diagnosis also helped me to understand why I behaved the way I did. But it was the lack of expectations and acceptance on me wasn't fair. And I was always the problem that nobody wanted to have around or anything to do with in the long run. I was always treated like a piece of trash in the tip. And that's what I deserved to be treated all the time. That's how people treated me. But God had other plans for me. I became a Christian in 94, and I became the way I am today because of my faith and strength in the Lord God. I was always 3 conversations behind others in social situations, including families. When I did speak up, I was embarrassing, not only to myself, but to my mum and to the other family members who laughed at me and told me to shut up and keep quiet and stay in the background. All I wanted to do is I felt like I wanted to crawl under the table every time I was there with them. It was terrifying, knowing that when I appeared at family gatherings, that's what they'd always think of me. Stupid, immature, and just like another family member who's completely the opposite of me now. They only want to talk about their obsessive topic, which is trains. This still happens to this very day when I'm in some of the family gatherings now. But I think now, and being older, some of the other family members have done the complete opposite, which is fantastic, fabulous, and have included me in this circle and have accepted me also. There are certain ones that I do talk to and have to do with, and then there are some who I don't have anything to do with or talk to. What stopped me from doing things was my comprehension impairment. So as you can see on this slide, this is a blank wall, or it could be a whiteboard. My comprehension impairment prevents me from understanding things unless I have that visual experience, or I go through things and people explain things that I have to then convert into a picture format. Then I can slowly understand and learn how I'm meant to do something or how I'm meant to help someone else. But a lot of it, when I learn something, goes into my rote memory. So therefore, it's automatic that when I learn something, it automatically comes up like a video movie. If you remember the old VHS video back in the 80s, where you watched and recorded a movie and then you rewound it and then played it back. That's exactly how my memory is for me. So this comprehension impairment was a chain of life that stopped me from concentrating for long periods of time, communicating with people and tolerating the society we live in today. At this time, I didn't realize that I had to put the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together to form the pictures for the blank canvas that was in front of me. It was like this image that's outlined below. Step by step learning to take those baby steps to achieve the milestones that I had lagged behind in my own life journey. So when I gradually stepped on one step, that other step behind me fell to bits, and then I was on that step. And then I had to keep walking step by step by step to achieve this milestone, and down here was a milestone. So then that path was gone, but there were more paths forming. And this is how I did my life journey in this dim tunnel. So when I learned something, I thrived on it so much I was desperate for more, which happened over time. Gradually, I filled in the blank canvases so much to get so much so to get a new one, and then another, so that my life has been filled up with so much knowledge that I lacked back in the olden days that I missed out on prior to my diagnosis. My comprehension imagine impairment turned into a thinking process when someone had given me food for thought. This was feedback from teaching me something which I then had to translate into pictures, which was then the way I started to learn to think about things. Then I started to put the jigsaw puzzle pieces together to form the ideas for myself. This is when I finally started to learn and think outside the square box by listening to my gut intuition, which then taught me how to make thoughts and decisions and processes for myself, which then I learnt to do. My brain, I couldn't do that, wouldn't do that for me. I was so proud of myself when I could do this and not rely on anyone else to make my decisions for me. But sometimes I still ask my mum some things that I don't know, and she tells me how to apply that question or information properly to my own life. This method also taught me how to stand up for myself in situations when I was threatened or otherwise. I can make a snap decision straight away or stand up for others as I'm so strong and determined and such a resilient person that I've never been before. The song by Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping. You get knocked down, you get up again. Is there anything going to keep me down? No. And things can only get better. That song is, um, there's an artist that sings that song. Still connected to the autism chain, my shadow and adulthood. So here on this picture below is my shadow that was forming, and I was quite scared of it because that's the person I was about to be, and this person here was the person I was. So that was the image below. Having the strength and courage to face up to the fact that I was about to wholly and completely change and facing the unknown that was ahead of me. I was so very scared and frightened at this scenario. I was living in this glass coffin, looking at the people and all the world around me. I was safe and I was comfortable in there, not being responsible for anything or anyone. I just wanted to stay there, but I couldn't. It was about to be smashed big time. So what changed me in my life? What do you think changed me in my life? It was the diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome at the age of 30 years old. That's what. It has been one of the highlights of my life and the identity of myself as an individual human being. The chains are broken and gone. Thank goodness. Freedom. Breaking the chains of the autism prison after diagnosis. This was me after my diagnosis and my life journey between the age of 30 and 45. Woohoo! Yippee! I'm free. Now I know I can get on with my own life. It was complete freedom to walk on the sand and experience the salty fresh air and the sea beyond me. The waves washed away the old life from me. And this is what I still do today, is visit the beach. This started the identification of myself and who I was, where I lived, and what I liked as a person, e.g., music, being different, being unique, but learning to colour coordinate my clothes because people only gave me blue clothes. I was given everything blue because everyone assumed that I liked blue, but I literally hated blue. I needed to learn how to socialise, communicate, and make decisions for myself. This also included making long-term connections and relationships with people, ending up as solid long-term friendships. For me, the opportunities now, adult life and employment, the opportunities. What business opportunities have I had? For me, to reach out to many organisations as possible, such as companies, organisations and schools, and provided them knowledge and expertise of the lived life experience that I've had and still do have, so that they are better equipped and can work better with either their employees with ASD or students in the classrooms. To keep on working in my business till I can't do it any longer. I started my business back in 2007 as an opportunity, as I had written the first two books of my business that I felt that could be used by other people. They were called The Goal and The Power of Positivity. My business lasted till 2014, until I was told that people wanted more professional people like psychologists to actually present to them from an academic perspective. However, there are still many people out there now today, including myself, who are now doing it from a personal lived experience. And that's what I feel where my passion lies and what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. However, other employment opportunities I've had is I've worked in several state government departments here in Melbourne, Victoria over time between 2019 and 2022. I've also been employed as a traffic control officer or lollipop lady or school crossing supervisor for over 20 years here with my local council. That was the longest time I'd ever stayed in a job. Most autistic employees are known to do repetitive, mundane work in their lifetimes. That's not me. I like to do a variety of things, but other autistic people prefer to do mundane things because it's the same thing. I like to do a lot of different variety of things during the day when I'm employed by an organisation. Most either do computer science, ICT, information and communication technology, computer programming, cybersecurity, data analysis, data entry, or office administration work. This career path can be ideal for tech-savvy people who have enhanced attention to detail and enjoy working with computer systems. Some may even go into laundries, cleaning, or kitchen in aged care facilities. Some like to be an archivist, librarian, or historian. Some like science and technology research, animal science, pet grooming, and animal care. Employers need to understand many people with a disability want to have a career, but also are able to progress into management positions. This demands a whole organisation is structured in a way that both supports and encourages employees with a disability to achieve these outcomes. The challenge is to ensure they have the right structure and support network in the workplace. See the person first, not the disability or disability, as I said. When I presented in another state or territory here in Australia, I also declared that I was autistic. I was like the slinky dog at the top of this slide. I was walking far ahead, living life as what I normally do, but then my diagnosis and my sole identity was walking behind me. And it was stretched so far so that I couldn't be stretched any further. When I declared my autism to an audience, not only was I emotional, but I felt that I was bringing that back half of me back home. So then my spring in between wasn't stretched as far as what it had been in the past. I've had many successful opportunities over my time, running my own very own business, KTalk, helping the many people understand the complexities of living with an autism spectrum disorder. Writing, developing training materials as products of the business, to then become a reality on paper, to teaching them to educate the participants who attend these courses or sessions in neighbourhood houses and learning centres. Travelling to different towns, cities, or even states here in Australia to give presentations on topics of choice, or even sharing my own life stories to others to inspire and encourage them on their own life journeys. Becoming an international guest speaker at a conference overseas, which I'd never thought I'd do in my lifetime. Now I am one of those at your conference over there in Paris, France. My autism hasn't been a drag. It's allowed me to be successful in life, as it's never stopped me doing what I wanted to do to succeed, grow, and mature, and to become the person that I am today. If I'd never ever had that diagnosis, I never would have, I know that I would have still been living in that cosmic world that I was once so desperate to get off now, even today. My autism has allowed me to remember passwords, names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, website domain names, website hosting companies that I've also dealt with in the past, having long-term relationships with different companies or stakeholders that I deal with or who are a customer of, including hosting companies, medical staff, such as specialists, how to operate technical equipment such as Android phones, iPhones, and places that I've had to remember how to get to. My brain is a Google Maps phenomenon. When I need to go somewhere, I can get there no matter what. I know where to go and how to take the roads to get there safely. I've also had the opportunity to teach others in my lifetime, such as technology or giving advice on things they've asked me about. Having a network of lifelong friends, some for over 20 years or longer, that I never have had beforehand. This here is a sound desk. This is something that I operate at church, that I work together with musicians, and I help run the services that I belong to in my local Anglican church. This here is our live streaming computer with currently 2 cameras, but we may expand it to more. And this is here is the controls for the camera. This is the video you see, but this is how you can put it up onto YouTube, which we have our very own channel. Here are my contact details. You're more than welcome to contact me or ask me any questions that you have about this presentation or anything in general that you may have to me as a presenter of this conference. I'd be more than happy to share information or give advice to you. Thank you for this. Thank you for having me. This is the end of my presentation.